Dallas finally added another playmaker to their roster, so we've got to bring the playmaker himself to break down this move. Welcome, Michael Irvin.
There he is. Man, looking good. All right.
What's up, Michael? What impact will
What's
Pickens
up?
have on the Cowboys?
Let's say, hey, Joy, when you were over there talking about what it costs, all of that, I was over here saying, yumba, jumba, jumba, yumba, jump. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. All that matters is that we got the exact type of receiver, the exact diversity I talked about, that we were talking about on the show for the Dallas Cowboys. This was a great job. I just got off the phone with Will McClay, the guy over there that's pulling all the strings and everything. We had a great conversation about George Pickens. And then I made sure I talked to the people. You got to talk to where he's going, and then talk to all the people over where he left. And I talked to, the guys over there. They'll tell you, this is a freak athlete. This is a freak athlete. He can make plays that very few people that ever put on a pair of shoulder pads and helmet can make. You add that to what the Dallas Cowboys have right now. It is what I have sat there. It's what I have talked about. And obviously, they over there were watching me because they got exactly what we need. We're back in the fight. You ain't got to ask me the question. Does this put them back in the fight? We're back in the fight. I told y'all that more than more. We were back at the draft. Now, think about it now. We got one of the best receivers in the NFL in CeeDee Lamb. You just added on a great draft where you picked up the right personality, the right attitude, and the right talent for that locker room. And then you go and get a guy that has to prove to the world that he is of the ilk of the Keyshawn Johnsons and the Michael Irvins and the Paul Pierce. He wants to be one of the greats. What better showcase? What better opportunity to showcase that talent than, oh my God, who's calling me? Then right here. Hey, you see that? That's Clarence Hill.
What the heck?
That's Clarence Hill trying to call me right now.
Clarence,
Tell
we're
Clarence.
on air.
Yeah.
Right. I want to tell Clarence. Let me
I'm going to text him right now, Michael. I'm texting him.
No. How did I get that back, man?
I'm
oh, my
texting.
God, man. Oh,
Man.
man,
Key, what impact will the Cowboys,
just hit him, but okay.
will Pickens have on the Cowboys?
I think it's going to be significant. If you go back and you think about when they acquired Amari Cooper from the Oakland Raiders in that trade, the third down percentage jumped for Dak Prescott in that offense. That offense was struggling prior to his arrival. Then once he came, it was a different offense. And I think you could say the same thing in this situation with George Pickens. They didn't give up a whole lot to get him. Obviously, he's going to want some new money as time goes by. He's still going to be playing on his last year at about $3.6 million until such due time that they address it. But it helps the passing game significantly. They get another option outside of CeeDee Lamb that they can rely on and understand that this kid has the opportunity to basically be a 1A, not a 2. I mean, a 1B, not a 2, but a 1B to CeeDee Lamb's 1A. He should be extremely happy. He finally has a real quarterback, not this, Mason Rudolph or Justin Fields is in 1 minute, out the next, or Russell Wilson is in 1 minute, out the next. He finally gets a real quarterback. He doesn't have to worry about Mitch Trubisky, right? He doesn't have to worry about Kenny Pickett. He doesn't have to do any of those things. He's got a guy who was on the verge of becoming an MVP a couple years ago, who has won big in this league. So he should be extremely happy, as far as I'm concerned, about the move from Pittsburgh to Dallas. And the Dallas Cowboys in the passing game should be extremely happy for getting him.
Yeah, I think it's clear that he's going to help out CeeDee. Now the focus won't be completely on him, and he can really take some pressure off him. This is a move that we've been waiting on from the Dallas Cowboys. We've been waiting since the season ended. Like, what is Dallas going to do? They didn't make a splash in free agency. They usually draft well. We'll see how that pans out. But, this is a move they needed just to give a spark to the locker room, because what they left on the field last year, coming in this year, I wasn't optimistic about them. And so now, like Michael said, it does put them in the fight. I still wonder about some of the holes they still got to fill on the defensive end or in the running game, but this is a start. So it's a great move.
I like the trade. It gives Dak another weapon, takes some pressure off of CD, takes some attention away from CD. And George Pickens was the guy in Pittsburgh. So
Yes.
to your point, he's not really a number 2. He's kind of a
Yeah.
he's kind of a 1B. And we know what Dak can do when he has options out there. Now, I do have some questions about how Pickens is going to fit with the Cowboys because there were some issues with him on field with a guy like Mike Tomlin last year. I mean, it is what it is. He got fined almost $90,000 in 2024, and there were plenty of conversations about that
I understand.
in Pittsburgh, and I don't know if Schottenheimer has the same gravitas to deal with that if it does come up.
But the difference the difference in Shotty and Mike Tomlin or Shotty, neither one are in the huddle. They're on the sidelines. So when you have a Dak Prescott who is a veteran, and you have a CeeDee Lamb who is essentially a veteran.
Yeah, and the guy.
The relationship and conversation is totally different, right? You a guy like George could lean on them, and they could tell him, man, just go up, you're gonna be all right. You know, they think about Kenny Pickett trying to communicate with George Pickens,
right,
or Mitch Trubisky trying to communicate, or Russell Wilson trying to communicate with him.
So
they ain't not even looking at him the same.
It was a lack of offensive leadership in Pittsburgh.
1,000%. That's a faster way. That's a faster way to get to it, though. Joy, is a lack of leadership on the offensive side of the ball.
But like when you're in a culture like Pittsburgh,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That's a really good culture. It has been for a long time.
It's a great culture, but it's defensive centric. It's all about the defense. That's what it's really about. Offensively, there was no leaders over there. Now, Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb essentially are the leaders on the offensive side of the ball as of right now. Right. Plus, you got coaches that coach offense that wants him as an offensive mind in Shotty. So the conversation is just way different when you're talking to a receiver. I speak receiver language.
Michael, what do you think about that?
And Key is absolutely right in that aspect right there, talking about where he's coming from. Defense rules Pittsburgh. Over here, it's all about offensive football. And let's talk about the stage. What have we talked about? George Pickens always want the opportunity to make big plays on a big stage. You ain't going to get a bigger stage than this. You're going to have the star on the side of your helmet. You're going to be playing in the star game. Now, I don't care even if the records are bad, even though the Cowboys' record better not be bad with you on board. You see what I'm saying? So no matter what, we're not talking about that extra oomph that this physically freaky athlete's going to have every Sunday when he hits the field, because he knows every eyeball is going to be watching the Dallas Cowboys play. You thought he went up and grabbed, I know it's a great organization. I know they've done great things in that franchise. And he went and did some great things for the Steelers. But now he's at a whole nother level. And I absolutely believe he will commit to that. He's on his contract year. Mm-hmm. I'm sure he wants to get paid. And he has the physical skill set, talent to get paid. Now it's just about locking in and getting it done. And I think this is a great opportunity for him.
Will the Cowboys make the playoffs after this trade, Michael?
Yeah, what are you talking about, man? We got to talk. That's not even a question. The question is now, when you start, I'm serious, what people should start saying is, man, are we going to see 3 teams from the NFC East in this playoff? Because bar none, that's what we got right now. There's no doubt in my mind the Cowboys are absolutely in the playoff. And the question is making sure those other 2 from the NFC are there too. But this move, with what they did on that offensive line, and you will find that bell cow running back, and that'll fall in line. And you got a great mixture of talent back there to make sure you find that bell cow running back. So, yeah, they're definitely in the playoffs.
I love when Michael's excited about the Cowboys. Are they in the playoffs?
They did exactly what I said they should do.
Did.
Why should I not be excited?
They
stole my stuff. Or used my stuff.
You want them to listen to you, and they're listening to you.
Right. And I'm spitting Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. It's the gospel, and they got it.
You have been preaching. You got the preacher suit. You're ready to go.
Preacher suit.
And the Lord said.
Start the Cowboys cult. Are they making the playoffs, Ski?
I think they have a legitimate shot at making the playoffs. I won't just shoehorn them in. Like I said the other day, I think even without this move, that they had an opportunity to fall in that third spot, which essentially could still put them in that bottom 6-7 slot as a wild card, and I think that's where they're at. I don't think they're nowhere near Washington or Philly or Washington. They're going to be fighting it out with the Giants, but this is certainly a big help. There's no question about it, like a huge help for them. Now they just got to learn how to stop the run and run the football. If they can get those two things solidified and shored up, then we'll probably see them in late January, or not late January, in January. Let's just say that.
Paul?
Right, but Key, in getting Pickens, that helps with the run stopping problem, because if you can get back up to 30 points a game, now that other team can't just turn around and hand that ball off. They have to throw the ball to catch up. So that's the whole thing. This moves help both sides of the ball, because I know there are people like you, Key, and they're going to take this and they're going to try to steal the glory in this story.
Oh, man, if you don't stop, ain't nobody's trying to steal no glory. I'm trying to explain to the people what it looks like.
We'll start doing all that tomorrow. I will not have any glory stealing here today. Just stop it with that. They ain't got this on defense. They ain't got that on defense. We ain't talking about that. We talking about what we got on offense right now. Go ahead up.
I'm over here looking, Michael, and I know you're excited and optimistic about this, but I don't know if 3 teams out of the NFC East is getting in, because we know the Cowboys. I'll tell you this: what they did. The Cowboys solidified the 3rd slot in the NFC East. That's what they did, because before we didn't know New York, Cowboys, 50-50, I don't know. But when I look down the line, Mike, I'm looking like Eagles, Commanders, okay, Rams, possibly 49ers, Lions, Packers. You know, that whole division, NFC North, any of those teams could get in. Buccaneers, I don't know. It's going to be a tough fight. So, I mean, I love that you're optimistic, but I don't know if this one move puts them over the top. I don't know if this...
Your optimism for the Vikings. I mean, we haven't seen any quarterback play from the Vikings. Now y'all got me unbutton my coat here. I was going to just try to talk to y'all in a pleasant form. But see, this is what I'm talking about. Now look at where you're digging. You're digging to a team like the Vikings.
They won 14 games, Mike.
Who's going to play quarterback.
They're not going to just fall off the cliff.
We don't know. Dude, this is what I'm saying. This is what makes the NFL great. Each year's a new year. And each year teams are making moves. And we're at this point, everybody's 0-0, and we're trying to figure out who got better. We can definitely say right now the Dallas Cowboys got better. We can't definitely say the Minnesota Vikings are going to be better. We don't know who the quarterback's going to be. So that's all I'm saying. Right now, we're on who got better and who can we definitely say got better. Mm-hmm. The Dallas Cowboys, you got to shake your head this kind of way. If you ask about those other teams y'all talking about, you got to you got to shake your head like that and do that. Like, you don't know that. You don't know that. We do know with the Cowboys. Yeah, better. I'm just saying.
I will split the difference with you, Michael. I do think that the Cowboys got better. I love this move for them. They were talking about a big trade. They did it. I don't know if there's more in the pipeline, but this was certainly a question about what they were going to do with the wide receiver position. You wanted them to go out and get a big-time skill position player. That's what George Pickens is. He was the guy in Pittsburgh. Now he has the opportunity to be one of the guys in Dallas, which is a very big deal. He's a young player who wants to get paid. He's going to get the opportunity to have some big moments, which is where he thrives. So I think it's an excellent move for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, does it solve all their...
Joe, what I'm saying, though, is everybody was thinking that. Everybody on that desk was thinking that when I was there, when we didn't think it was going to go down, when we thought, no way. When Keith said, they'll trade down and keep going down, they ain't going to do nothing. Everybody said it'd be excellent, because they thought it would happen. Now that it happened, they want to come up with everything else. What is going on around here? You see what I'm saying? Jerry went and did something nobody really expected to happen. It was nice, and we thought it was just material to help get us through that day of work. But no, now it has manifested. You know what they call it? That means it was a thought. But when you take that thought and bring it into its physical equivalent, they say you transmuted it from your brain to its physical equivalent. And George Pickens is here. Oh, great day, Steve. I'm just saying. All right, let me stop messing around. I got to get back to work. All right, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop.
No, you're doing a good job, man. You look like you got to work on my insurance policy a little bit, but you did a good job. You know.
Hey, make sure you put some tithes and offering for me today.
Please.
I got y'all, man.
Rain the blessings down.
What we putting in are those things up there. Y'all see them things up there. Don't act like y'all ain't said that. Y'all ain't see them things. That's what we just put in for. Hey, baby, come on home, baby. We're going to get one-on-one back here pretty soon.
See, now, Mike, now that's when you lose everybody, though, dog. You lose everybody. You start talking about like that. You lose us all at that point. I think they got better, though, for sure.
They definitely got better. They're a ways away from the Eagles and Washington, but it's one step at a time, and I think this is a great step in the right direction. I can't rain on Michael's parade today.
No, I can't. No, I don't want to rain on. He excited. He get ready to go to what is it? 88 Club or Club 88, Bar 88.
Playmakers over there.
Playmakers. That's
we'll do a celebration. We're gonna do a celebration. We're gonna do a celebration, and it's deservingly so because we came out with everything we need. Look at that offense now. Look at that offense. This is exactly what I talked about. I'm really excited about it. I really am. And get this, guys. And get this, kids. And I love the things that I'm hearing about Coach Schottenheimer. I got a meeting with him next week. But I'm talking about the things I'm hearing that he's doing in the building to make sure that the right guys are in the right areas. You know, they're changing things around, putting certain people in certain areas. I always say, guys, you've heard me say it, in order to win a championship, it's easy. It's about a promise made, one player to another. I can get my job done. Now, I've always said, I said it there, you got to create them opportunities for these players to make those promises. And I'm hearing that he's doing that by putting certain guys together at certain areas at certain times in that locker room when they're eating, when they're having meetings. That is good stuff to put to this. That's what I'm talking about. So it's not just I'm happy with substance. That's what I'm happy about.
Well, let's look at the Steelers side of this trade. Pickens had likely been ousted as the team's top receiver after they traded for DK Metcalf earlier this offseason, but Pittsburgh is still waiting for an answer from Aaron Rodgers, and now he'd have one less weapon to work with on offense. So, Key, will trading Pickens impact Rodgers' decision to sign with Pittsburgh?
No, I don't think so at all, Joy. I think when you think about this conversation about George Pickens being on the move has been brewing for quite some time. And the fact that they acquired DK Metcalf certainly heightened that. So I'm sure that they have been in conversations with Aaron Rodgers of what the offense could potentially look like with Pickens out or Pickens in. So he knew this was coming the entire time. I'm sure it's no shock to his system at all. His decision is not going to be based on whether or not George Pickens is opposite of DK Metcalf. That decision is going to be made whether or not he wants to play football because he wants to play football or not play football. Nothing to do with George Pickens being on the move.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I don't think that with the trade of Pickens that Rodgers is saying, oh, we just lessened our chances for a Super Bowl, because I didn't look at, even if you added Rodgers to the Steelers, I didn't look at the Steelers as a Super Bowl contender with Rodgers. So, like you said, if he's coming back to play, he's just coming back to play, you know, and that's about it. But if I'm Rodgers, I'm like, listen, if there's at this age, if I'm not playing for something or playing somebody to where I really think we can win a Super Bowl, I might as well retire, because that was kind of like my whole process as I got older. It was just like, you know, where can I go to where I can win another title? You know, it'd be the best opportunity. And so I think that's something he has to think about, and I don't think this impacted, because even with Pickens, I didn't feel like Pittsburgh was a Super Bowl contender.
Michael, you think this will impact it?
Yeah, I believe if I was Aaron Rodgers, this may impact it in a positive way for Aaron Rodgers, knowing now that George Pickens is not there. Because now if he comes in and he has a DK Metcalf who just came in, I can let him now be my number one receiver without worrying about feeding this loud-mouthed joker We'll take the loudmouth joke in Dallas. You appreciate it. I appreciate it. So you see what I'm saying? So in a sense, this helps Aaron Rodgers in his decision making because you got something to prove. DK Metcalf now has something to prove. Both of you guys can get together to make sure y'all prove what you need to prove, and you don't have to worry about showing George Pickens any form of satiety, satisfaction, getting him any balls. So yeah, this works out, I think, in Aaron Rodgers' favor.
It'll be interesting, too, Michael. There's a report out there that they are sniffing around Alan Lazar, bringing him over from the New York Jets to Pittsburgh, Joy. I know that makes you cringe because here's another Aaron Rodgers move that could affect the Pittsburgh Steelers with that being in play. So that replaces George Pickens to a degree.
Wait. Key just said something. Key, you dirty, Key. You dirty, Key.
How am I dirty?
This man home, he probably got a little ayahuasca or whatever he doing, whatever he does. He just chilling, and you know threw him in there. Oh, that's why they traded George Pickens. Aaron Rodgers told you to get him out of there and bring in Alan Lazar.
I didn't say that. I just said they sniffing around Alan Lazar. That's the report that's out there in the universe. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
We're interrupting Aaron's quiet time in his darkness retreat. I don't think that's what was bringing him to Pittsburgh. But, you know, I don't think that George Pickens is a problem. But Aaron has had issues with young receivers in the past. I mean, he's not a rookie, but you do kind of make a point there, Michael. If George was having the same issues that he was having last year with someone like Aaron Rodgers, it might be pretty explosive. That's could have been an issue, and obviously DK has a lot he wants to prove. I don't think that this was something that was going to keep Aaron from going there, because to Key's point, this has been out there as a possible trade for a while now. So I think Pittsburgh and Aaron are in the same boat at this point. It's just a matter of him signing and getting there. But Michael, before you go, do you like what you've seen from your workout partner, Buddy Hield, in the playoffs?
What are y'all talking about? I told you I hit Buddy the other day, and I told him after he put up them big game in Game 7, which I went to, I said to him, Buddy, I said, man, listen, I was going to kill you this offseason because you shot that air ball at crunch time. But after the way he's played the last few weeks, I told him he's off the hook. He's back in the good graces, man. I love watching him play, and I love watching him play with Jimmy Butler like that. You know, you saw him up there after the game last night messing around with each other, having fun. He's bringing the best out of Buddy. He's a good dude. I'm happy to see him have such great success.
Well, thanks for joining us, Michael. Thanks for making the time. Congratulations on the news today. I know you're very excited. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we're back, guys. I appreciate it, guys. I feel real comfortable getting back talking with you guys now because we're in the mix. I can talk from a place of strength now, not some humble place worried about what y'all say.
That's not. We don't want Michael in the humble place. That's not a good place for Michael.
We do.
Thank you, Father Irvin. Thank you, Father Irvin.
Father Irvin.
All right, guys.
Taking Irvin out. Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.